Hi friends, and welcome. Today is day 21 of my 40-day challenge of bringing spiritual insights to you. And so today this message is for someone who is always giving, who is always in service. And service is a beautiful thing, but the message that I was receiving is that service does not mean self-sacrifice. And so what they were showing me was this chalice, this beautiful chalice, and it was overflowing with light. The light was just emanating, and these gold particles were coming out, and it was just overflowing. That's the only way I can describe it, is that it was just this endless supply of energy and vitality and just goodness coming out of this cup, this chalice. And what I was receiving is that they showed me that, and then they also showed me a glass, and this glass was almost empty. And the message that I was receiving is that when we serve from a place of an empty cup, then we are not able to show up in full presence. We are not able to have the same amount of compassion and kindness and to be really present and listening to what is being asked of us. And so they were saying to me, my guides were saying, is that we need to serve from a place of a full cup. And we were never meant to deplete our cup, to deplete ourselves, to not nourish our soul, to not nourish what it is that we actually need to be able to then serve. And so they're saying is that pay attention and recognize that you need to take time for rest. You need to take time for nourishment. You need to take time to fill up your own cup, to replenish that. And sometimes that can mean setting aside time for a bath, setting aside time for a sleep, like taking a nap, right? And sometimes that's in the middle of the day. And so I wanted to give you an example of something that happened to me. Is I was in service, and I've always been in service, and I took it upon myself. I was running a program. It was 9 months, and I was holding this space for people for 9 months, and I became very, very depleted during that time, and I really needed rest. I did not structure the program well enough where I was able to give myself that space, to give myself that rest time. And what ended up happening to me is that I actually was going to see my mom, and I was filling up some water jugs, and I took them out to the car, and it was winter time, and I opened the back of my truck, and the truck did not, or the trunk did not fully open. And what happened was, is I ended up lifting up those jugs in full force because they were really heavy. They were 20-liter jugs, and I went to put them into the truck, and I ended up banging the top of my head on the trunk. And I gave myself a concussion. I had a concussion. And this was this beautiful sign from the universe that I needed to stop, and I needed to slow down, and I needed to rest, and I needed to take care of myself. And so the universe forced me, right? I was forced into a place of rest. So I actually had a concussion, and I had to spend several days, I spent several days sleeping, all day. I couldn't even function. And so sometimes when we don't listen to our bodies, when we don't listen to what we need, when we don't take that time to rest and we don't nourish ourselves, then things can happen, accidents can happen, because we are not in that place where we are coming, where we are serving with a full cup. We are fully depleted, and that can be physically, mentally, emotionally. And this is really, really important. So remember that being in service and giving is such a beautiful thing, and there is so much joy that comes from that. But if we self-sacrifice, then we're not actually doing anyone a favor. We're not doing ourselves a favor, and we're not doing others a favor, because we cannot show up with full presence, with being fully attentive and giving from that place of being our absolute best, letting that full divinity, that light shine through us. So consider that and remember and contemplate that service, right, does not have to be sacrifice.